Hello, I'm Tracy Ann Burgess and welcome to the Change Studio. Today is episode 2 and we'll be focusing on identifying and taking inventory of your zones of genius. And your zones of genius are really your natural talents, your natural abilities, kind of things that you came here with. And it's going to be really interesting because when you start to remember what they are, we'll go back to your earliest memories and you'll see how they kind of travel through your life, and you can kind of follow them back a bit like a tree, kind of like a family tree, like a tree of genius that goes back in to your early years. And we'll be able to see how your zones of genius are making an impact in your everyday life. Let's get into it. As in episode 1, we will be using my passport change kit, which I designed over a 5-year period to help women navigate change, particularly really a big life change, or for women that really want to change. So we'll be working with my 14 cards. We're on to our second card today, and that is called Zones of Genius. You don't need to buy the kit, just follow along with my videos on YouTube. The method that I came up with to identify and to make an inventory of your zones of genius is called a genius board, and it's a really fun exercise. It's really good. I had a ball making this board. It's blank now. I had it filled before, and we'll just layer it up kind of memory by memory. And I'll start like this. I know it looks blank and pretty disinteresting, but we'll start going bit by bit, and as you see it layer and layer, you'll see it come from kind of my past to my present. I won't show you everything, might freak you out a bit, but it's just an example for you. Now, you might not have a cork board. This is actually not even a cork board because, anyway, it didn't work. But you can use a cork board. You could use, this is just cardboard on here. You could just have some pieces of cardboard, staple them together and put things on there. You can go online, make one on Canva for free. Whatever it takes for you to create a space for yourself, because we're going to be able to make a tangible record of all of your zones of genius. I like to call it panning for gold because it's like finding all your hidden treasure. Sometimes when you're going through a really big life change and your life's all just a state of flux and there's just so much upheaval, it's really interesting to kind of remember who you are, what your identity is, what you're really good at, what really ignites you, what lights your fire, what things are really important to you and what things you're really proud of. Sometimes everything just looks like such a mess and your memories are full of, everything just feels like such a catastrophe. This is a super self-affirming exercise. This will help you feel really good about yourself. Now, when we look into your past, you might look back and go, oh God, it's kind of full of disaster, or I wasn't happy in my youth, or I can't seem to remember anything really good, but we're just going to take it really step by step. I work with some women that cannot even remember their past because of trauma. They can't even remember their childhood. And I've also had women that have come from had very limited financial resources when they were growing up. But we made amazing genius boards together, and it was really fun and really affirming. It's just brilliant. So I'm just going through some of mine just as an exercise to see, okay, that's how you do it. So, there's no comparison here. Comparison is poison, so I don't compare myself to anyone, and neither should you. I hate the should word, but this is your own past. These are your own talents and your own skills and your own abilities. They're no one else's. And so let's get into identifying them. So we start with really throwing your mind back to some of your earliest memories. Like, what did you like doing when you were really young? What can you remember that brought you joy, or that you just actually enjoyed doing? And my first thing that I just really enjoyed doing that I remember, I don't know, it might have been 5 or 6. When I was at school, I really enjoyed writing the letter F. I was kind of devastated when they took one of the loops out of it. And I've got it here. Here's my letter F. And don't worry, I'll be putting it up on the screen so you can see. So I remember bringing my pencil up and bringing it straight down and around and crossing the F and coming off. And I really remember really enjoying that practice. And these little hints will help you for the future. So even if it feels like something small, write it down, put it on your board. So I just use blue tack. I'm just putting up my letter F. Now, I was very ill as a child and spent many, many months in hospital, and I was advised, or my parents were advised by my doctor, that I needed to do ballet. So my mother sent me to ballet lessons, and as it turned out, I was really good at it. So I was really proud of that, and I loved doing it. And when I think about it, I think about how it felt in my body to pull off all of the dance moves and to just do just like the perfect plie and work on my point. And I love feeling the strength in my body. And it turns out I actually did really well at it, and I did some performances and all that. So I'm going to put ballet up on my board. I make little stars and things to go on it because, you know, I'm proud of it and have fun with it. So just stick a little star on your, write it down, stick it on your board. It doesn't have to be coloured paper, I just happen to have some, so I use that. The next thing I really loved was my horse. I was very, very fortunate, and I had a horse growing up. And I really love that horse. I wasn't really into the whole horse scene. I just like to do my own thing with my horse. But I went to some gymkhanas and a few little shows, and I got some horse ribbons. I don't know where they are, but I got a photo of me on my horse. So I put that up. It really showed that I loved the sensation of riding fast on my horse. I love the sensation of riding bareback. Sometimes I love not even having a bridle or a halter. And I love the thrill of it, and I adore animals. So I'm putting up a photo of my horse. Next thing, you know, everyone's lives go up and down, but I must say something very important about this exercise. There is no negativity in this exercise. Everyone has got, I'm sure, trauma and got things that have happened in their lives that have had a major impact on them. But for this particular exercise, this is just panning for gold. This is plucking all the gold out of all the good things from your life and putting it on the board. So we're just editing out the shit, okay? It's not got any place here. This is this exercise, okay? So next, I worked super hard when I was young, when I was 17. Desperate to get out of my boring city. So I travelled from Kathmandu to London. And I loved travel. Loved it. Just found that I absolutely love the freedom of it, love the adventure. So it ends up, you can start seeing some threads that come through your life. When you start putting some things up here, it starts creating this little picture board for you. So this is not a dream board. This is not goal board for something for the future. This is all beautiful things from your past that you can pull forward, and you start to see some really interesting patterns and changes in your life. So I hope I'm not boring you with all my past life escapades, but you'll find the more that you dig, the more that you remember, just keep bouncing from one good thing to the next. And sometimes they might not have felt kind of like really fun, but you were good at them and you were proud at some of these things that you remember. So the next thing, I went to mime school in London, which for several reasons, I was totally miserable there, nothing to do with the mime school, but I was good at it and it actually really helped me keep my life on track. So that was something that I did there. And then I moved back to Australia and I moved to Sydney. And one of the things that I love doing there is that I was in a psychedelic bubblegum band. And so I'm going to put that up too. Now, I really had no idea, because I had a lot of upheaval in my youth. I had no idea what I was actually really good at. My brother was super, super artistic, and so I thought, well, I can't be artistic or creative because he's this brilliant artistic guy. So I didn't really know what I was good at. I was really surprised to find things that I was good at and things that I love to do, things that really lit me up. And so I just kept kind of stumbling toward those things and kept including those things. And then I started doing silk painting. Turns out I was good. I can't draw, really, to save my life. Turns out I was good at silk painting, and I found a way around it. So I'm going to put silk painting up there. Can you start to see the pattern? I didn't even know. I didn't even think I was a creative person. Like, till I was in my mid-20s, and I'm thinking, maybe I'm creative. Actually, turns out actually that I'm really super creative, but it took me a long time to work that out. And then now listen, I'm 60, so I've fitted a lot in, right? So I've created a couple of fashion labels. So let's put that one up there. Or are you going to stay? Yes, just maybe. And I'm going to grab my other one, which is passport. There. That's where the balloon comes from. If you're wondering why you always see a balloon, it originally comes from one of my clothing labels. I just love the idea of freedom of a balloon up above, going over all the sort of crap in your life and just like floating above to the next opportunity. So can you start to see this sort of pattern? Patterns start to form. Now, you may be not the least bit creative. You might find as you start to put things up that you're really driven by STEM, which is, well, you would know if you're driven by STEM, which is obviously not my area, which is science and technology and maths and whatever that one is. Or you might find that you're very athletic and you have a lot of athletic history. Or you might find that you're super academic and you were just had your head in a book the whole time, and that you were really, really, maybe you've gone into academia. Maybe you've decided on, maybe you're into horticulture. Maybe there's all sorts of things. But the idea of this wonderful exercise is to bring all of those, dust them off, all those memories, dust them off and bring them out and put them on your genius board so that you can start to see not just the things that you were good at, not just the things that you're proud of. I'm not just talking about accomplishments here, but I'm also talking about some other things that they reveal about you. So it really reveals also some of my values and some of my character. So, I mean, I'm super feisty. I think I'm fairly fearless. I think I'm a deep end jumper, and that's pretty obvious in this. I'm also, my values, some of my values are freedom and adventure. Like, I love the feeling of being free and the wind in my hair and being adventurous and going and doing kind of crazy things. I love doing things that people said, oh, I don't think you could ever do that. But this really helped me, because when I went through a big life change, when I lost our business kind of overnight and it was very, very challenging, we ended up losing everything. I found that I just couldn't do all those normal things that I was doing in my business. I just couldn't do them anymore. And so when I did this genius board, I just came up with it. I thought, oh, what can I do? I couldn't even really kind of remember. I was very burnt out. And I just started putting things up there that I had done. I was feeling so down on myself, and I was just feeling like I am lost. I'm just completely drowning, not waving. And just remembering who I am, what I came here with. And it showed me that I'm very tenacious, and that I am really feisty, and I'm really gutsy. And some of these things show that I was just really fearless. And I love that about myself. I just go, that's really cool, you know. But I hadn't really, until I did this, hadn't really appreciated myself. And some of the brave things that I've done, and some of the things that I can do. And it really helped me then when I had to try and make decisions to then start navigating a new direction in my life. I really made sure that that direction that I went in included some of the things that my board showed me, that I am creative, that I am fearless, that I am definitely entrepreneurial, and that I am gutsy. I complete what I start most of the time. If I believe in it, 90% of the time, I'll complete what I start. So I'm a completer. So all of these things start to show you things about yourself. Now, you might not have done anything like this. You know, you might be really driven to serve. You might be really focused on social justice. This is not meant to be about accomplishment board. It's not meant to be about that. It's just meant to be about self-knowledge, connecting in with who you are, and actually connecting in with things that you really love and you really appreciate about yourself. So make your genius board, leave it up, keep adding to it. You know, you might get a new qualification, or you might, look, I haven't included children in mine. I'm just trying to keep it, when I started to think about, I've got 2 children, when I started to think about putting the children up there, I thought, this is actually just about me, this thing. And you're a mother, you're always going off, assisting, but this is really about me and helping and assisting me, and I hope it helps you too. So if you like what I'm doing, please press the subscribe and the bell button. And also I will be putting in any links that you might need in the description to create this genius board. And please join me for card number 3, which is a super important card, and a card that I love, which is the card of protection, next week. Thank you, and bye for now.